Okay, now here's the solar setup basically in my garage, my one-car garage. 30 Kyocera panels, 240 watt. Very nice. Some rails, the regular solar mount rails, not the E or any of that kind of stuff. Conduit, which I had to buy locally. Grounding number 6 grounding wire bought locally. Grounding rod and all that stuff is local. My S5 clips, 200 S5 clips for use on my standing seam metal roof, which is going to make the install really great. Nice thing about Affordable Solar was they sold me disconnect boxes and all that stuff. And again, Brian's system is basically my, I just copied his system essentially, and Affordable gave me the 3-line drawing to submit for Florida Solar Energy Center approval, so my name is now on their website as an approved system. Kevin Panic, real proud of that. And let's see what else. Just a lot of piece parts, a lot of fasteners. You got to go get all. Stainless steel's the way to go, and been reading about galling, so some anti-seize when I go to install that. Wire, the piece part stuff, which I'll come up with a list of stuff and kind of post it or something to help folks out as far as 30 end phase. I went with the end phase M215s. Here's one. I don't really like the way that it's real heavy and it's going to cantilever out off my solar mount rail just on one screw. I mean, this thing's probably 2.5 pounds, and can't really show an example here, but that's a flat side of a solar mount. But it's a pretty narrow. The regular solar mount's not a real wide rail on top, so just one of those things kind of funky. Of course, you can't really modify anything because they won't. If I put extra screws in there or something to kind of disperse the load off one faster, that's going to be a no-no, I'm sure. So we're just going to have to hang with it and see how it goes through the years. Here's my top mount clamps. Kind of glad I went with top mount just because they're easier to get at. This is a double ones. One thing I will note that I got the grounding clips, but Brian cautioned me, or that the local code inspector, he's going to look for this wire being tied to your panel, to your inverter, and to your rail. I don't think they're going to understand that a small grounding clip was installed. Here's one where it cuts through the anodizing and gives you the ground. You don't really need the grounding wire going to the panel. So if I had it to do over again, I would point all that out and put that in special notes when I pulled the permit, so that they either blessed it or they said they didn't like it. Because going to buy all these weeb connectors at $10 a pop, I got scared and said, oh, better order weebs for all my panels, so that's 30 weebs. So you do the math. That just added, $300 to my project. Here's the end-phase cabling. Two 15-foot circuits. Nice thing, this 1/2 inch. Nobody really tells you. I kind of try to measure it, and it looks like the 1/2 inch watertight connector plug in to go to my junction boxes. Another thing, I kind of researched junction boxes and how to mount them and all that kind of stuff, and not a lot out there. Guys telling you, okay, use this junction box. We're going to use, Brian used 1-inch conduit, so I'm sticking with 1 inch. And also the grounding wire. I actually asked Affordable to show an alternate ground path, because the ground paths they show typically go back to where the meter is. And again, code guys, the inspectors get here and they're going to want it per the drawing. So Brian, that's the way my friend Brian did it. I ran it all the way through the conduit, which he said was a pain, all the way to his basically his meter where he grid tied. I'd like to dump it over the side of the house, but again, I'm a little scared about that. My master electrician, I think, is going to be able to kind of help me out there and tell me which way to go. I did show alternate. I had I had Affordable draw an alternate ground path, but they didn't label it alternate. So now I hope that I got all sorts of worries. One of the worries is I hope my inspector doesn't come here and say, oh, you need 2 ground rods. Look, there's 2 ground points. So I don't think so. I think my master electrician will be able to say that, but there it is. Panels don't take up as much room. My panel van, I got a nice, beautiful diesel 1992 GMC Vandura 6.2 liter, and I could have fit all them panels in there, but I used my brother's box truck. I saved the lift gate, delivered to a commercial address, and then went and picked up. 2 guys handling 45 pounds each. It's not bad. And the rails, 14-foot rails, only stuck out a little ways from my van. So, all right, more to come.